Welcome back to the Bears Cave. I don't know if you remember us since it's been so long, but I'm Tom.
Yeah, I'm Sam.
That guy's Sam. And we're so excited to bring you the first episode of the 2025 season. Technically, it hasn't started yet, but let's count it season 2 of the Bears Cave. And yeah, we got a lot to talk about today. We got a lot to talk about in general. Um, but I guess before we get started with anything, Sam, no context. What is your prediction for the Bears, both record wise and how far they get in the playoffs if they make the playoffs?
I have the Bears going 9-8. I think it's going to come down to tiebreakers as to whether that makes the playoffs. I think if they do, they're probably going to lose in the first round, and I would consider that a success.
Okay. I think I'm a little bit more optimistic. I'm going 10-7, winning one round of the playoffs. So, you know, I'd consider that a success. But
That would be a huge success for sure.
yeah, I think Caleb. Anyway, too much Bears talk. But
That's not the focus right now.
yeah, what is the focus, Sam?
So today, we're going to do a quick segment on the Bears. We're going to talk about some of the offseason stuff that we haven't recapped since our draft episode. Um, and then we're going to get into ranking every NFL team 1 to 32 and organize them in tiers, as is the wave. So we're going to do that today. And then next week, we're going to do our full in-depth predictions on the Bears. We're going to go through that all. That's going to be next week. All our predictions on the games, how things are going to play out, who we think is going to be our breakout stars, who we think might flop. All that kind of stuff is going to be next week. It's going to be our episode all about our predictions for the Bears. This week, we're talking about everyone in the NFL. Yep, very excited to do both of those things. Going to get into other NFL teams. But if you want to talk about some of the things you think about the recently preseason, where we're recording right now, the Chiefs was the last game. If you want to break down some of the preseason games, some of the stuff you saw, some of the stuff you think about our roster cuts, signings, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we did a pretty good job on talking about the free agency stuff and the draft in our last episode, so you can check that out if you want to hear about that. But I guess since then, all we've really seen is kind of the performance of the players at training camp and kind of what our scheme is looking like and kind of how we performed against some of the teams at the preseason. So I'd say that I'm liking where the training camp is going. I'm liking a lot of what I'm seeing out of the interviews. I think Ben Johnson is a psycho, which is really exciting to see. I think the players are morale is really high, but like definitely like very good mindset of just like everyone. I think we're in a really good spot with that, and yeah, I think there are some disappointments I had on kind of who I was looking forward to really show themselves more in training camp and in the preseason games. I think our defensive ends I do not have not seen a lot from. I don't think Dio Dengbo has done really much of anything. I think Montez Sweat is not showing much. I mean, he didn't really. I don't even know if he played much except that Chiefs game the other day, but I didn't see much from either of them. So, kind of disappointed from that. I mean, it is preseason after all, so can't take it with too much weight, but definitely want to see more of that once we get to the first Vikings game. But overall, I really like where Caleb is looking, which is, the biggest focus of the Bears, as always.
I agree on the defensive line, like you were saying. I think that's something where we need someone to break out. We need someone to go across from Sweat because he's kind of proving Montez Sweat is a very good, maybe great defensive lineman, pass rusher, but he's not elite. He can't do it by himself. He needs someone else across from him, and no one has stepped up to that role yet. We need someone, and I still think we haven't found someone who's going to step up into that role yet. That's disappointing. That's something to watch out for. But Caleb, it's been up and down in the preseason. Again, the whole season really rests on his shoulders, right? That's always kind of going to be the thing. And there's been, times in the preseason and camp where it looks like, okay, yeah, Caleb's got this thing. And then other times where it's like, what is he doing? Like, it's been up and down all over the place, but we'll get way more into that in the next episode. But that's of course going to be the main factor of the whole season, and it's been a lot of good, a lot of good.
Yeah, yeah. I do want to talk a little bit more on kind of some Bears stuff before we go into
Yeah, so
full
some
NFL.
transaction.
I want to talk a little bit about our rookies and how they've been performing.
Yep.
Kind of just going down the draft line. Colston Loveland, I think, has been really exciting to watch. I
Oh, yeah.
mean, obviously, whenever you draft, a kind of a skill player like that, you're going to
Yeah,
get a lot of
that high.
highlights. But just really kind of his physique and kind of how he plays himself has been really cool. And I'm a big Komet fan. Like, I mean,
Right.
here's this, but I'm really excited to see how kind of Ben Johnson utilizes both of them.
Right, because that's something is Colston Loveland is a very different player than Cole Kmet. We didn't draft him to be Cole Kmet's replacement, right? We drafted him so they could, complement off each other. Again, how Ben Johnson's going to use both. Are we going to see a lot of two tight end sets? Who's going to be running what routes? I imagine that would depend on the defense we're playing and how everything else is going, who else is playing well. But it feels like Loveland is more of your speed tight end, kind of in that Vernon Davis mold, whereas Cole Kmet is more in that Jimmy Graham mold, where he's big catch radius, dominant blocker, um, a lot of touchdowns guy. Where I feel like Loveland might be more of a yards guy, if that makes sense. I feel like that's the easiest way to put it. So I'm really excited to see how they're going to use both of those because and they will present difficult matchups for different defenses. So hoping we can get creative there. Luther Burden is the next one. That's someone who has shown some flashes for sure. I think he's in a crowded room, so I think he might not get a ton of touches. But I think it's a good opportunity still for him. He has shown flashes. Could be a good X factor for us. What do you think about Luther Burden?
Yeah, I think that's a really good way to describe him as shown a lot of flashes. Definitely has the potential to be an X factor. I can see him like making, and definitely, yeah, he's in a crowded room. I think if maybe we have some injuries to Rome or DJ Moore, he could really step up and play a huge role this season. I've liked what I've seen out of some of his plays. Sometimes I don't like what I see, but I mean, like you said, it's flashes. It's exciting. I think he's one of the best wide receivers in the draft. I think he's better than my boy Matthew Golden, who the Packers got. And yeah, I think overall I'm very happy where he is. But anyway,
He doesn't
I
have
don't think I.
to this year. He
What's
doesn't
up?
have to come in and put up 1,000 yards.
No.
He does. We don't need that from him. We need him to learn and get better and get a connection with Caleb. We don't need him to come in and be a difference maker. That's not what we're asking of him.
Yeah, I could definitely see him though, like just out of nowhere becoming like a huge part of the team though. Like
Right,
if
and maybe having some packages like if offense isn't working, let's get Luther Burden out there and see if he can make a difference.
yeah,
Let's
and
see
if he's
he
like
can prevent
if he's
problems.
consistently making a difference, I don't see Ben Johnson like snubbing him for more of the one of the more
Absolutely.
established guys. So exciting to see how that competition between them plays out. But next on the draft was Ozzy Trapillo, and that's kind of like a whole story on what was happening over at left tackle. Braxton Jones, Ozzy Trapillo, Kirana Magaji, and then I guess Theo Benedict, the Canadian dude, who I guess looked pretty good in the last game. I'm not sure how realistic it is to expect him to have a ton of playing time, but I don't know. He's not super. I think he's probably more of a project pick, which I didn't really feel too great about since Karana Magaji was also a project pick, but I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. I think it's a little bit too early to give a verdict on him, but yeah. What do you think about him?
Well, first off, the backup left tackle is not someone you ever want to see in the game. First of all, I hope Braxton Jones plays every snap this year and doesn't get hurt because that would be bad news. If Trapillo does step up, and it's like you said, it's a project pick. I don't expect him to start at all. if he's going to be a backup. We do know Ben Johnson likes to get creative with play calls, so maybe there will be some stuff for him there. He is a very good athlete. Could have, whatever weird play calls Ben Johnson can come up with if he thinks he can use them in a unique way. But if it's just learning, getting better, brushing up on technique, learning how to block in the Ben Johnson system, that's all I would really expect out of him this year for Trapillo. But if they see him as being a difference maker, and if Braxton Jones isn't working out with the system, I guess maybe there's a world where he starts this year. But I don't think I want to live in that world. I think I want to live in one where I think I want to live
dramatic.
in a world where Braxton Jones plays every snap at left tackle and does a good job because he's been a good left tackle for the Bears. And Ozzy Trapillo gets to learn and get better and brush up on his skills. And some point down the line, Braxton Jones is not going to be our starter at left tackle. I mean, he's a good player, could be upgraded, hopefully upgraded, but that's not a. I hope we don't see any Ozzy Trapillo this year.
Well, I guess you heard it here. If Ozzy Trapillo starts at all, Sam will not be living in this world. I don't know. I disagree. I don't think I really don't think we're gonna have a set starter at left tackle. I don't think Braxton Jones has shown himself to be that much more dominant than the other left tackles. I think it's going to be kind of a competition throughout the year, which is not something you want. But I just don't think that we're going to have anyone that's dominant enough to kind of have that position locked down. Unfortunately, I don't like that scenario, but that's just how I think it's going to play out.
And it's important to have good backups too, because offensive linemen get hurt. They get a lot of those out for a couple week injuries, and it's going to happen. No team is going to the playoffs with their 5 starting offensive linemen.
Yeah.
Right?
And offensive linemen are get swapped out a lot. I mean, it's something like, 75% of the snaps that the starting offensive linemen play or something?
Yeah. I think it depends on the team and how they use them. But yeah, I mean, you're subbing players in. You're giving players breaks at certain point, or you're just using different packages, right? Especially run plays or goal line plays, stuff like that.
Yeah. I think that's kind of all I really had for our top few draft picks.
Yeah.
I know I wanted to see more from Shamar Turner. I don't really know what his deal is. I do want to bring up a little bit, not Roshan, the other guy from Rutgers. Who was that? The running back? Kyle Monangai. He's very exciting to watch. So he's a 7th round pick, but he's turned into one of my favorite people to watch at these preseason games and in the training camp. So
absolutely
excited to see how he develops.
Yeah, again, a player that probably won't see the field very often, but could be a special teamer and work his way up into being a starter, or kind of working off in our running back committee. Absolutely could see him finding a role on the team, especially with how he plays, how he runs. Yeah, that you're right. That has been a player I've enjoyed watching. I haven't really thought about it, but every time he's on the field, it feels very exciting.
Dude, he runs like a fucking demon. He's got he's like
he's got anger. In his
a lot of anger. He's given up 0 fumbles in his entire college career. That was
I saw that. Yep. Hey, that's good quality.
Yeah, that's who you want at the 1 yard line. None of that. Who was that guy last year? Who that offensive lineman who fumbled it at the 1 yard against the Commanders or something?
68. I remember his number, but I forgot his name. I don't know. I blocked out that whole game.
Yeah, I think we did too. I think I did too. All right. Well, yeah. If you think of anything else during the show you want to talk about, just bring it up.
I think the last thing is the Tyson Bagent extension.
Yeah.
I think that's really exciting. I think that's good news. He's, I think, one of the best backup quarterbacks in the league. He's been consistent with the Bears. He's shown he can be a quality backup to, I think he could be a low-end starter somewhere. So I think signing him to this deal, I think also makes me think that we might try and trade him at some point. I think if someone else's quarterback goes down, we will be getting calls about Tyson Bagent. He's been consistent in the preseason. He's lit it up every year in the preseason. And whenever he's started, he's done very well for a backup. I think last year, or 2 years ago, he went 2-2 when he stepped in for Justin Fields as a rookie with our terrible offense. There was nothing helping him out there, and he still went 2-2 and looked solid. So great to have a good backup quarterback, and I think we signed him to that deal probably with the expectation that we're going to trade him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I think in terms of the trade deal, I don't know if we signed him in terms of that, but I mean, I think he's a guy who definitely deserves more chances than what he has been given. He's nothing like when he comes onto the field, he's not like super exciting, but he's very steady. He doesn't make many mistakes, and that's kind of what you want from a backup. I don't know. I think a part of me wants it to be like some sort of like 90-10 split where we use Bagent for some plays, but I don't know. I don't really see that happening. I like the kid though. He's really cool. I love his story.
He's a great guy, and backup quarterback is a highly important position. Quarterbacks get hurt, and if Caleb goes down, it doesn't feel like our season's over. You know, like if Caleb is out for 4 weeks, if he like gets some injury where he's out for 4 weeks, it doesn't feel like we're gonna go 0-4.
Yeah, no.
Like we could win almost as many games with Tyson Bagent as we could with Caleb Williams, and it feels like his play style, he will always put us in a position where we're able to win, right? If the rest of the team doesn't, do well, he throws a lot of short passes. If the receivers are running well after the catch, everyone's blocking well, it feels like we could win a game with him. But if that's not happening, then we won't win, and that's fine. But that's what you want out of your backup quarterback. He's not going to lose you games when he's in there. You have a chance to win every game he plays. And there are some really bad backup quarterbacks in the league, and we have one of the best ones. So
yeah, no, definitely exciting news. Unsure of how it's going to actually impact us over the 2 years that he's been extended, but really happy for him. I think it's a very
field, right?
Yeah. I think it's
takes knees at the end of the game.
Yeah,
and that's it.
I mean, you hope you don't ever die in a car crash, but you still buy insurance. So. Exactly. I think it's a good deal for us. So, I think it's a good deal for him. I'm happy for him. So,
absolutely.
Anyway, let us get into what we want to discuss today, the meat of this episode, which is going to be, we're going to sort of go through the entire NFL, see how the landscape is, kind of discuss briefly each team, kind of what our thoughts are on them, and kind of rank them in terms of who's the best and who's the worst.
Yep. We're not like going too in depth on each team. Again, we're not going to be here for 5 hours. We're not going to do that. But briefly, we have our tiers set up on basically if things go well, like how far could they realistically go? Is kind of how I'm basing it off of. I'm basing it off of like if these teams has a good year, where will they end up? But again, we're not going to go super in depth, but just like an overall brief picture of how we feel the NFL is going to shake out this year. And do you want to start from the top, or do you want to just grab teams and place them?
Yeah, let's grab teams and place them.
We could just start from the left with the LA Rams.
Sure. So LA Rams, I think, are up there. I think they're either contenders or conference contenders. They had an early exit last year. Was that second round?
They lost a close one to Philadelphia.
Okay. Yeah, I think that was second round.
Yeah, that was in the divisional round.
Yeah, Eagles.
They lost a close one to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I would put them at contender, but at the bottom end of contender, right?
Yeah.
Where I can close my eyes and picture the Rams winning the Super Bowl this year. I can see it happening. A lot would have to go right. But best case scenario, I think they're one of the few teams that I could actually see winning it all.
Yeah.
They have an elite coach. If Stafford is still healthy and good all year, absolutely they can win it. They've got some good young talent. Jared Verse should prove to be a defensive player of the year candidate. And maybe Devontae Adams will be an upgrade over Cooper Kupp. That's kind of like, trading your grandpa for your uncle. Like, maybe he's got more juice left than Cooper Kupp, but
potentially. I think this one has no argument. I think Browns have nothing going on.
They're thinking about next year, right?
I don't think they're thinking about anything. Gonna be honest.
That's a problem.
I think they're thinking about how to make the most money out of selling their team. But whatever.
Yeah, no, you don't do that.
Anyway,
They're not in any
Falcons.
conversation.
Falcons, I think, are pretty good. I think they have some upside. I think Bijan Robinson, Penix, I think Darnell
Drake
Mooney's
London.
good. Um,
Drake London, beast.
yeah, I think they have a high upside. Not like a super high upside, but I think they have. I think they have a can make playoffs floor, and a can win playoff games around their ceiling.
Right. I think obviously second year quarterback. I think I would be more inclined to put them in can make the playoffs. I don't see them beating any of the other kind of good NFC teams,
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
would put them either at the top of can't win. I think if they go towards the bottom of can win a playoff game, I could see them winning one.
yeah.
If they catch the right team at the right time, I think they certainly could. But they're another one of those teams where they could also crash and burn for real. Um,
I'm feeling stupid. Who's their wide receiver one again?
Drake London.
Right. Yeah, I could not remember.
He
I
was
mean,
really,
obviously I
I
know
think,
Darnell Mooney. Yeah,
Yeah, so him and Mooney, they're very different receivers, so their
yeah,
offense could be really dynamic. But I've seen a lot of offenses that could be really dynamic crash and burn. So
yeah.
it feels a little Bearsy to me, where you're like, oh, we have all these good players. Will our young quarterback work out? I'm maybe a little jaded that it probably won't.
Yeah, I think that's a good comparison. I think the Falcons are pretty similar to the Bears in a lot of ways.
They feel like the Bears from 2 years ago, the last year with Justin Fields. That's kind of how I feel about the Falcons.
That's a good point. I think that's a good comparison. Lions, I still think they're really good, but I definitely think they've gone down like quite a bit. I think Ben Johnson was a good part of it. I think that Ben Johnson had a lot of coordinators go with him. Aaron Glenn's on the or not. Yeah, it is Aaron Glenn, right? On the Jets right now. Yeah.
Yep.
I think you can't lose that much talent in your coaching team and not be injured. But I mean, I think Hutch is coming back next at the start of the season. I think they're gonna still be pretty good. I still think that they're probably the favorites to win our division. What is going on with you?
Second. Just pause the recording for 1 second.
Got you. And we're back, bringing up the Lions. I think, yeah, but Lions, they lost a lot of good talent in their coaching staff, but I still think they have a lot of really good stuff on their offense and their defense. I think Hutch is one of the best players in the NFL. I think their running back room is, I think, by far the most exciting room in the entire NFL. Running back room in the NFL. I still think they're contenders, top of conference contenders. But
Right.
yeah,
Because I really felt like their Super Bowl window was the past 3 years, and they needed to win it this year, and I feel like it closed.
I would agree with that.
I think they had 3 chances to really go and win it all, and they didn't make it happen. And that sucks. But without Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, that's going to be such a big loss. I kind of feel like they've ran this iteration of the Lions team, and it has not been able to produce in the playoffs. I mean, they've come very close. That game with the 49ers a couple years ago. But then they lost to the Commanders this year, and it wasn't particularly close.
Yeah, I
feel
think
like they're out of contenders. I think I would have them below the Rams. I think the Rams have higher upside than the Lions. They're still going to be very good. They're still going to be a high quality team. But I could see them at the very bottom of contenders. Because they still do have very good players. Amon-Ra is still a dominant receiver. Sam Laporta didn't really make much noise last year. Obviously, Gibbs and David Montgomery are going to be electric. And if Aiden Hutchinson returns to form, obviously Defensive Player of the Year candidate. But I don't think any of that gives them an X factor. When I'm thinking about the NFC, I'm thinking about, okay, can I picture the Lions going to Philadelphia and winning? I think the answer is no. I think I can picture the Rams going to Philadelphia and winning. I think the Lions, I don't think I could see them doing that. I just don't see Jared Goff winning that game. As far as like quarterback, and I don't see them having the talent, especially without Ben Johnson calling the plays, which clearly was really effective for them. But all that to be said, they're probably going to win 12 games. They're probably going to have a home playoff game. They're probably going to win at least one playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the window to seriously win the Super Bowl was really the last 2 years, and it didn't happen.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I think that they're definitely going to be a downgrade from last year. I don't think that's even close to being a question. I just think that the talent and the dominance they showed last year is enough to still be a contender despite what they lost. But I agree. I think their Super Bowl window has closed, which honestly I found unfortunate. I like Detroit Lions. I think I don't know about their fan base as much, but I respect. No, I like their fan base too, but I respect the franchise. Sucks that kind of went out the way it did,
Yeah.
but I still think they're contenders.
Last year, but yeah, I think they're below the Rams by a smidge. I think the Rams are better than them, but not by much. Not by much.
All right, and let's go on to the Chargers. I think these guys are pretty mid, honestly. I mean, I could see them like going to conference contenders, but realistically, I think they're probably top of can win playoff games.
Yeah. Obviously, Justin Herbert, famously, I think 0-3 or 4 in the playoffs, has never won a playoff game. But Jim Harbaugh, being their coach, gives me a lot of, he's, I think, one of the best coaches in the NFL. He's going to make any team he coaches, high quality. And I'm almost for sure they're going to be in the playoffs. But I kind of doubt their ability to really. I mean, I think they're certainly better than the Falcons. But I kind of doubt their ability to really make a run. At least I don't see them beating any of the top AFC teams in the playoffs. I think they could, beat one of the lower tier AFC teams in the playoffs. I don't see them beating any of the big three teams in the AFC.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't have too much to say on them, honestly. Yeah, if you ask me to list all the teams in the NFL, I'm probably going to forget the Chargers a lot of the time. They're not like horrendously bad or awesome, but sorry. Anyway,
good. They're going to be in the mix. They're not going to make a huge run. Justin Herbert will be good. He'll put up a bunch of yards and stuff.
Hopefully. 49ers, I feel like they dropped off a cliff last year. I mean, honestly, like, with CMC really doubtful, in my opinion, I don't really know how much they're going to be able to do.
Yeah, right. How much gas does CMC have left in the tank? Because it kind of feels like he's their only offensive difference maker, or, figures to be. George Kittle getting up there in age, and obviously so is CMC. And when you're relying on two old playmakers to be the guys who make a difference on your team, because obviously all the discourse about Purdy, really the main thing is he's not a difference maker himself, but he could take advantage of difference makers. Deebo Samuel was really old. They got him out of there. Brandon Ayuk, I think, is still hurt. I don't think he figures to play early in the season, if at all. So it feels like their kind of mash of weapons has really deteriorated. And if they make a run to the conference championship, which I think would be their absolute ceiling, the way they do that is if Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle can turn back the clock 5 years, and I just don't see that happening.
I still think George Kittle is very good.
He's still very good, but he is clearly past his prime, past his peak. Where I don't think he's a game-changing tight end. He's a very good tight end, but I don't think he's the game-changing tight end he used to be.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, he was never a guy who could consistently take over games like you would expect CMC to be. Because
Yeah,
really,
it's harder to do that as a tight end.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I still love George Kittle. I think he's going to be a beast this year. But I would say that they're just in can make playoffs now.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a
do
bit too
think
harsh.
It's a little ridiculous to put them below Atlanta. I think I would put them above Atlanta. Just because they have an elite coach, an elite proven coach. But they really have gotten hit hard from other teams taking all of their good players.
I'll set it there for now.
We can get really into that if we want to at the end, but yeah, I don't really see them doing much of anything. I think they could win a playoff game if they draw. I think they could still win their division too. I think, which is a big thing, where they could have a home playoff game against a weak opponent.
Yeah.
If things go the right way, but they could also be a team that's like low key having a top 10 pick. I like look up at the end of the year and it's like they all got hurt again, and nothing worked out. Christian McCaffrey didn't do good, and they're coming up on the end of the year and they're 5-10. Right? I think that's a possibility.
Yeah, I think their ceiling is a lot lower than the Falcons. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah. Anyway, Panthers. I don't believe it. I don't think Tet is honestly that good. I'm gonna be honest. I think you may disagree.
I feel like I might have gone on this rant, but he's like one of those in college. He's a possession receiver, right? That's his like strength is he can win contested catches. That just means you weren't getting open in college, so you're not going to get open against NFL corners either, who are better. Now, does that mean he's going to be a bust? No, but anytime any receiver gets that label, I want nothing to do with him.
Okay, chill.
Oh, look at all these contested catches.
Chill. We have a Doomsday. Let's make an exception.
I think Doomsday isn't the same. I love Doomsday, and Doomsday is way better, obviously. But yeah, and I think the Panthers are still a year away. I mean, you don't come back fast from being the worst team in the NFL.
Yeah.
I think if you think about their rebuild timeline, they're 1 year behind where the Bears are, and even worse because they traded away all their picks to us.
Yeah.
Like their defense was abysmal last year. I think they were 32nd against the run. I think I remember reading that like they gave up like 170 rushing yards a game or something like that. Like they gave up more rushing yards than Saquon Barkley rushed for last year, which is like
that's
like every running back against you turns into Saquon Barkley. Like, come on.
Like, it's an interesting way to put it. Yeah.
I think even if Bryce Young has a great season, they're still not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Even if he is amazing.
That's a good point. Yeah. I don't think anyone's arguing about where it is. Seahawks, I think pretty squarely and can make playoffs, in my opinion. Yep. I think K9 is really a great running back, but I also think I think there's a good chance he can be traded Bears before the season starts. I don't know. I don't see him doing too much. They traded away Geno, right? Who are they starting right now?
Sam Darnold. They got Sam Darnold.
Oh, okay.
Going to regress without Justin Jefferson, Kevin O'Connell. I don't think that means he's going to be bad, but I don't think he leads the Seahawks to 13 wins like he did with the Vikings. I just don't think they have that kind of talent. I can certainly see them in the playoffs. I don't see them beating any NFC playoff team though.
Yeah.
But like I could totally see every other team in their division falling apart, and then they like go 9-8 and win their division. Totally possible. I could totally see them hosting a playoff game. I don't see them winning that playoff game though.
Maybe. All right, Bills. I'd say they're top of contenders or in the Super Bowl favorites.
Yeah, so this is something I've kind of been going back and forth on, but I have landed on them right there, in the top of contenders. I think there are 3 teams that are in the Super Bowl favorites. I think that it is not the Bills. Specifically because...
Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to mention who exactly.
I won't say who exactly, but we all know the Chiefs are going to be in that favorites tier, and I'm sorry the Bills, but like the Chiefs just own you guys. You've had so many chances to try and beat them, and you clearly just can't get over the hump. And then the other highest team in the AFC is going to be the Ravens, and the Ravens got better this year. It feels like the Ravens keep getting better and keep adding things, and the Bills feel like they're getting left in the dust a little bit. Again, I could see them winning the Super Bowl. I'm not saying they can't win the Super Bowl, or they're going to be bad, or they're going to take a step back. I just think the other teams have either consistently been better than them or have gotten better and will continue to do so. I really don't see them coming out and beating Kansas City. But that's just all you have to think about is I don't see that changing.
I don't know. I think using the status quo as a deterrent to a team is a bit. I don't know. I don't need like doing that too much, but I see where you're coming from. I think that they're definitely below. We can come to the other teams when we get to them, but I also think I think the Bills are probably in Super Bowl favorites, but I guess
they're
just
certainly better than the Lions and the Rams.
Yeah, for sure. Packers, I don't think there's any argument or even any discussion. I think they're the worst team in the NFL. Yeah, all right.
I think right after the Browns is a good spot for the Packers.
All right, Saints. Okay. I don't. All right. In all seriousness, though, I don't think the Packers are. I think they're probably the worst team in the NFC or NFC North.
I think the Packers, to me, they have a really high floor but a really low ceiling. I see them as they're going to win 10 or 11 games.
I would not say that. I would not say that. I would not say that.
LaFleur always has them ready to play. They always beat the bad team. Jordan Love has proven to be good, but not great.
I think Jordan Love is a total fraud. I don't see the hype on him. I think he's so overpaid. And honestly, I have a very good amount of Packer friends. I have not found a single one of them after this year who's like, he's our guy. They're all saying like, we're going downhill. I don't think that they're that great. I don't think that 10 or 11 wins is their very, very, very ceiling. I don't think that it's their floor, as you say. I think that they're probably. I agree that they'll probably beat the bad teams. But I think that's probably 7 or 8 games is realistic to what they're going to win. I don't see any stars in their wide receiving room. I think Josh Jacobs is a very, very good running back. But I mean, I don't see any stars on their team. I don't see them improving at all from last year. I see them only going down. And last year, I don't think they were very good. I think they got very lucky. So I'm gonna put them in can make playoffs. What would you think about that? I can even put them above the Seahawks if you like.
I think they're certainly better than the Seahawks, and I would say they're probably better than the Falcons, but I would pick the 49ers over them. I definitely think they're better than you think they are. Believe me, I love to hate on the Packers. I hope they're in the bottom of the worst tier. I hope they go 0-17. I think, to me, really, it's every single year on Matt LaFleur has been their coach. They're just always good. It doesn't matter who's out there.
I like Matt. I like LaFleur. I think he's a very good coach.
He's a really good coach. As much as I hate it, that he's just so good. And they're always playing well. I don't see them anywhere near the contenders. I would certainly put them below the 49ers. I might put them above the Falcons though, because I could see them winning a playoff game. But I do think they're going to struggle to win the division. Which makes it harder. And then it's like, okay, well, do I see them?
I don't see them having more wins than the Bears. I don't see them having more wins than the Vikings. And I also think the Vikings were frauds last year, so there is that.
I think the Packers will be better than the Vikings, but we can get into that later.
Okay. All right. If you want to stand on the wrong side of history, that is your call.
I don't want to stand there.
Yeah, I'm sure let's have an NFC North talk later on in the discussion. But Saints,
not much to talk about. I mean,
I like Alvin Kamara. I like
Alvin Kamara. He's awesome. He's got crazy aura. I love Alvin Kamara's aura. That's about all they've got.
Chris Olave, I hate him. Yep. I genuinely hate him. He ruined both my fantasy teams last year. So fuck him. I think they're better than the Panthers. I think that they're better than the Browns. But I don't see them being much better than many other teams.
Yeah, I mean, they're not doing anything special this year. They're rebuilding still.
Who's their quarterback?
Derek Carr retired. They drafted Tyler Shuck.
I know.
I have no idea, bro.
Spencer Rattler.
Someone bad. I think they're gonna roll with Tyler Shuck because I think he's a really old rookie. I know that guy was played 6 years in college.
Did you see that guy throw at the combine?
Yeah, and the Saints are like, that's our guy.
I don't know, man. I think that if I'm a GM, I go, I'm never drafting that guy ever. But anyway, Raiders. Listen, I'm gonna be honest. Ashton Jeanty was my fucking guy. I was dead set on us drafting him. We missed out. I think I genuinely would have given up 39 to draft Ashton Jeanty. But unfortunately we did not. I think they got a really fucking awesome dog with him. With that being said, I do not think that they're anywhere close to being anywhere good of a team. I don't even think Ashton Jeanty is going to be that good because of how dog shit the rest of the team is. I think their offensive line is dog shit. I think they should have gotten Membo. I think that would have been much better for them. I think they're pretty clearly in nothing going on. I'd still say that they're worse than the Saints.
Really? Because I mean, the main thing is I think Geno Smith is better than any quarterback that's on the Saints. I think Geno Smith is the type of quarterback who makes your team average. He makes your team good enough.
And they have Jacoby Myers, right?
Yeah, they have Jacoby Myers, and Ashton Jeanty could. We don't know how much of a difference he's going to make as a rookie. And they have Max Crosby still, so they still have some stars.
They still have Crosby? That's crazy. How do they still have Crosby? What?
They've been about to trade him for 2 years.
That's so dumb. Okay. Whatever, bro. They could get a fucking haul for him. Anyway. Sorry, go on.
Either the top of that tier or the very bottom of can make the playoffs.
I do not think that they're in the bottom of can make playoffs.
Yeah, I don't. You're right. Because I mean, they have 6 games against the Chiefs, the Broncos, and the Chargers, who are all going to be up on that list. Yeah. So that automatically puts them at like in the hole, behind the 8 ball. So I would say top of that tier though.
Maybe. I don't think the Broncos are. I think the Broncos are overhyped. I think their defense is very good, but we can get to that. Cowboys. I
think Cowboys are in the can make the playoffs tier.
I'm okay with that. Yeah, they extended Parsons. Or no, that was.
No, they did not.
Trey Hendrickson. They got the Bengals catcher.
The holdout that got extended today.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cowboys. I think they could have a good season. I think they could go 9-8 and make the playoffs. They're certainly not beating anyone in the playoffs. And that's like best case scenario, right? If Dak plays out of his mind and CeeDee Lamb goes for 1,800 yards, I think they could make the playoffs. I could see it happening. And I can picture right now. It's like mid-season and the Cowboys are 7-4, and Skip Bayless is like, "This is our year. It's really happening." And then they sneak into the playoffs and get dogged by someone else. Like, I can picture it already. And I think that could happen, or they could be 5-12. I think they could make the playoffs closer to the bottom of that tier.
Yeah, I agree. Next up, Colts. I don't think that they're going to be very good this year. I think. All right.
This is a Bears podcast, so I do think we should save the Bears discussion for next week.
For next week, I think we should still place them, but we can keep them at the end.
Real quick, I would place them between the Falcons and the 49ers.
I would still like to talk about them a little bit, but I'd say we save them.
Off track too much. Go ahead.
What do you mean off track? This is a fucking Bears podcast, motherfucker.
Because if we do this, we can talk about
talking about the Bears is getting on track.
You're right.
We can save it till the end if you want. I want to talk about them a little bit. We can even set a time limit.
No, go ahead. You go ahead, and I'll give my spiel after.
Okay. We got the fucking guys. We're winning it all. um, dude, I think we're a really, really exciting team. I don't think our I don't think our Super Bowl window is this year. Um, but I think we have like a lot of guys who could really break out. I think obviously Caleb Williams, but I think Roma Dunze is also like a huge playmaker that could like explode this year. I'm a big Rome guy. Um, I still think our secondary is amazing. I think Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon, Brisker's coming back. I still love Tyreek Henderson. I think he's a fucking dude. I think we got a really good secondary. Andrew Billings is a dog on the defensive line. I think our defense is definitely above average. I think our offense has a higher floor than some might think. I think I'm very confident in Caleb. I think there's literally no more excuses for Caleb Williams anymore. I think we fixed all of the fucking holes that he had last year. It's his fucking time. I think that we can very solidly win playoff games. I think we could even make it to the conference championship at our best. But I don't think our Super Bowl is now. But I think this is, regardless, a very important season for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely, I think you're higher on me. I mean, I agree that this is not our Super Bowl year. I think that starts next year.
The only thing you agree with me on is the fucking is the negativity. That's crazy.
No, because I'm lower than you by a little bit. Because I think our offense. You said you think our offensive floor is high. I think our offensive floor is low, and it'll be game to game way different, right?
I said our offensive floor is higher than people think.
Right, and I disagree with that because I think there's going to be games where Caleb throws for 450 yards, 5 touchdowns, and it's like he's the best quarterback ever. And I think there's going to be games where he goes, 12 of 35 with 3 picks.
I don't think 3 picks. He had like 3 picks all of last year.
But there's going to, regardless the sentiment, I think that there's going to be some growing pains with the offense, especially. I think we've kind of been over this briefly, but I think it's going to take a bit for the offense to click until we're kind of firing on all cylinders like the Lions were with Ben Johnson's system. The big question is how long does that take? Because I think we could get a slow start, but is that a 2-3 start or is that a 2-5 start? Right, huge difference there. And it's like I think by the end of the year, absolutely we'll be a good team, but how long is that going to take? I think is the main question for the Bears. I think the defense is going to be good. It's going to be above average. It does have a high ceiling. I think our defensive ceiling is pretty high. Our secondary is elite. You brought up a player, Andrew Billings, who was really important, and our run defense was very good until he went down last year, and then our run defense was abysmal.
Yep.
After he went down. It was putrid after he went down.
Yeah. I think we got 2 really big holes. I think we need another player. I think we need another running back before the season starts. And I don't know if we need another player before the season starts at this position, but I think we need someone to fill the shoes of edge. I think we need a good edge. But anyway.
We're going to break all this down next week.
Yeah.
Very in-depth. Kiwi heard us talking about the Bears. She's over here now.
Yeah. She heard you shitting on them, bro.
Okay, Kiwi's a Bengals fan.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's her boys.
No wonder she's from fucking Ohio.
At least she's not a Panthers fan. Those are her only options. I guess the Jaguars too.
Dude, she's not going to be the only Panthers fan in the world. There's not that low of a chance.
All right, let's talk about the Colts. And I think they are right below the Raiders.
Yeah, probably. I would say they're above the Raiders.
Yeah, I feel like they have a lot of things better than the Raiders at about every position, except for quarterback, which is way worse.
True.
After starting Daniel Jones, I just like, what's the point? Like,
sure.
Like Madden simulate to next season if Daniel Jones is your starter.
Yeah, they're going for Arch.
And like no shade, like the Bears have had 5 of those guys in my lifetime. Like I know what it's like to have one of those quarterbacks. And like that sucks. And Anthony Richardson hasn't worked out. There's a lot of things with them.
Yeah.
I don't see them doing it. I mean, I guess I could see them making the playoffs if like the Texans have a historic collapse and then they're one of those teams that goes like 8-9 and wins their division. Their division is miserable.
Yeah.
But I don't want to put them in that tier. But they could make the playoffs just because there's a chance their division is miserable.
Yeah. I still think that they're above the Raiders.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I think the
Raiders
Dolphins.
Yep.
I'm pretty high on the Dolphins, honest. I'm not high on them, but I think that they're definitely at least can make playoffs. I think they have a lot of exciting players. Achane, Tyreek Hill, Tua if he's still has any brain cells left. You know, I know that's a big ask, but yeah, I think that they're I'd say probably above. I'd say right here. That's where I'd put them.
I think that's fair. I think you're definitely higher than them than I am. But I don't think that's like ludicrous to put them there. Again, I don't see them winning a playoff game. I guess they could make the playoffs if Tua has a good season and stays healthy. But like that feels like a very big if.
Yeah.
That kind of feels like the thing with like if Tua plays all 17 games, then I could certainly see them in the playoffs. But like that's one of the biggest ifs I've ever spoken in my life. I think Mike McDaniels hasn't proven to be the boy genius coach.
He's a fucking goof, bro. He pisses me off. I saw him in some interviews when he was like first like head coach or something. I was like, oh, this is cheeky, this is cute.
Right.
But now he just pisses me off, bro.
Right. Like that shtick gets old real quick.
It does. It really does. If I was a fan of them, I'd be pissed at him every time I see him.
Like that's awesome when you're making the playoffs. That shit is not cute when when you're losing, and it doesn't feel like their offense has been very good. But they still have Tyreek Hill, who is an absolute game changer. You know, he gives you a chance to win every game you're in, just because he could go for 250 yards and 2 touchdowns, and like just take over a game. I think that's a fair spot for them. I think they have a higher ceiling than the Seahawks. But the main question mark is just going to be, can Tua stay healthy, which has been a resounding no every year. But if we're going on the optimistic side, I could see them there.
Yeah. I think Patriots, I think that they're either top of nothing going on or bottom of can make playoffs. I think, completely disregarding Drake May, I think they don't have much at all. Yeah, I don't think they have much at all. If Drake May is amazing, I think that they could make playoffs. I didn't see too much from him last year. I think he's pretty good. I don't think he's insane.
Right.
I'd say that they're top of nothing going on, but what would you think?
I would put them at the bottom of could make the playoffs, simply because Mike Vrabel, I think, is one of the best coaches in the league.
True.
That's what puts him up there, and he is one of those coaches where he'll win against the bad teams, right? I don't think he can make the Patriots good enough to, win a playoff game, but I think he could get the Patriots to be 9-8, and sneak in the playoffs, right? I think simply because that's my respect for him as a coach. But again, that's the optimistic view. I think if we're going optimistic view, I would put them in can make the playoffs, but it's all up to Drake May.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the story of their season. It's kind of like they're another one of those teams where like they could make the playoffs for sure, or they could be picking third overall if Drake May isn't the guy who we thought he would be.
Yeah.
So for that reason, I would put them in could make the playoffs because I think they could, but at the very bottom of it because I think they'd have the lowest chances of all those teams.
Yeah. You're probably right.
Now I got a fun one. I can't wait to talk about this one.
This is a really fun one. Bengals, I'd say, are the most exciting team in the league. I don't think that's a understatement. I think when you watch their games, just as a fan of football, you have a great time. Because they'll win about like half their games, but they're always gonna like have a 100-point total score between both the teams.
If I was picking a game, right? If it's Monday Night Football, right? And I want to show my friend who's never watched football before, I want to show them a Bengals game
Yeah.
because I don't know who's going to win. I mean, for real, the Bengals might go 0-2 against the Browns this year, and they also might beat the Chiefs. Like, they're, I love the Bengals. They're so fun to watch. I will watch any Bengals game because again, they could lose to any of those teams at the bottom tier, and I would be like, "Yep, that sounds real." And they could demolish the Chiefs. They could blow the doors off the Ravens, and I'd be like, "Yep, sounds like the Bengals."
Yeah.
Um,
I think
they are also the whole thing with the pass rusher,
Hendrickson.
Hubbard.
Hubbard, the Panthers
that was
running back.
No, they had a different white pass rusher that was Hubbard.
Oh yeah.
They were boys. I just remember seeing them at the same time. That was, I think, he was on their Super Bowl team. But Hendrickson, that whole thing is ridiculous. The Bengals are your friend who has a total beater car, but has the best shoes in the game. Right, your friend who spends more on his shoes than his transportation. That's the Bengals.
Yeah.
They will drop fat stacks on their wide receiver too. They will not pay any of their defenders. And
Yeah.
I love that about them. They are my favorite team besides the Bears. I cannot get enough Bengals football. I love the Bengals so much.
Yeah.
They are all aura, no substance. They're so awesome.
Yeah.
I could go on about the Bengals. I want to start a Bengals podcast. For real.
I think that they're conference contenders. They could very well be nothing going on, or they could be Super Bowl favorites. I'd say they're conference contenders.
Yeah, put the B logo there, and then put the tiger logo in the top, because that's they are both. But I think it averages out. I could see them in the conference championship game. I could totally see that. I don't see them going to Arrowhead and winning.
No.
Again. All right. No, I could see them doing that, but I don't see them going on a full run, right? I could see them winning an Arrowhead. I don't see them doing that and then winning another playoff game after that, just because it feels like they're so hot and cold. But that's where I put them. I think if they have a great season, they put up 40 points a game and they still go 10-7 because their defense gives up 35.
Yeah.
Right? And I love Bengals football. I love everything they're about.
Yeah. I think that, no question, most exciting team in the league. Whether you hate them or love them. Titans.
And now we can talk about the Titans are cool.
I don't know,
How
man.
can you talk about anyone after the Bengals?
I think I like Camp Ward. I think
he's awesome. Yeah.
I think my idea of him is a lot higher just because I like him a lot as a person. I'm acknowledging my bias here, but I think he's going to be pretty good. But I don't know. I don't think that they really still have much.
Right, he could be awesome, and they still aren't a playoff team. He could be 100% best case scenario, and they're still going to win 7 or 8 games. Just because, you don't go from number 1 overall pick to making the playoffs very often. It just doesn't happen like that. There's a reason they were the worst team in the league last year. I think they're better than the Saints, but below the Raiders is where I would put them. I think they're a couple years away.
Yeah, maybe. I still think that's given them a lot of credit. But I'm fine with that. I don't have any issues with them. I like them.
I think Cam Ward's going to be great.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. All right. Super Bowl champions, Eagles. I think, obviously, if you win the Super Bowl, you got to be in Super Bowl favorites. I think they're a really good team. I think that Jalen Hurts is a lot better than people say he is. I think their defense is amazing. I think their offensive line is outstanding. Saquon Barkley's a fucking dog. I think their wide receiver room is great. I don't see any holes with this team. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I think they were the best team last year. I think there's no reason to doubt that. I also think, and I think the other teams we're going to put in the contenders. I'm real quick why I think the Eagles, I would put them as the number 1 contender is because the AFC is a lot tougher. I mean, the only real competition they have is the Lions and the Rams. We're not putting any other teams from the NFC in that tier. just glancing down at it, I don't think so. Nope. And I really like their odds against those teams, whereas the other teams, the AFC, kind of had to bloodbath each other. So the Eagles just have a better chance based on that.
Yeah.
I think they're the number one team in the league. I agree with you on Hurts. I think Hurts. Well, I don't think he would be. The Hurts discourse is a whole thing. But while I don't think he would be an elite quarterback on other teams, he does exactly what his team needs him to be, and that's what an elite quarterback is. He does what his team needs him to do, and he has an unstoppable X factor, and he elevates the team. And yeah, and enough said. I mean, we all saw the Super Bowl. Like, that's what they are.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good point you make. I think that even if you're the number one team, undisputed, I think if you play the 2 through 10 teams, you're going to have a lot, or like the 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 teams, you're going to be in a much better spot than the third or fourth team, who only has to play like the worst teams. Having an easier spot to the Super Bowl is always going to make you a better overall team, just because of probability of winning.
They face less challenges than anyone in the AFC.
Yeah, for sure. Jaguars, I think this might be a hot take. I think they're worse than the Panthers.
Yeah, that's definitely low on them, but I don't see them being good. I'm kind of out on Trevor Lawrence. I don't think he's ever lived up to that hype. You know, he had one game where he had that amazing comeback against the Chargers, and I can't think of any other significant wins in his career. I can't think of any other Trevor Lawrence moments. I just don't see it.
You disagree with me on this? I know you disagree with me on this. Travis Hunter, I think, is going to be a fucking bust. You can quote me on this. I'm on record. Officially on record now. He's going to be a fucking bust. I think he has no constitution for playing in the league. I think he's going to be he's going to be within IR stints every game of his life. I think he's a little bit above average at either position he chooses to play.
I could not disagree more. I think he's going to change the game. I think he's going to step in. I think maybe not his rookie year, but I think by his second and third year, he's going to be Pro Bowlers at both positions. I think he's an absolute game changer. I think the Jaguars are going to probably misuse him. That's probably the biggest hurdle he has to go through. Is they're going to be like, you know, if I was the coach, I'd be like all-time starter on defense, and then we'll get some offensive packages for you. I think the Jaguars are going to put him in the stupidest plays they could possibly do.
Yeah,
they're the Jaguars.
I think Liam Cohen is a fucking idiot, dude. I
mean,
sorry,
but I'm super high on Travis Hunter. I'm the complete opposite. I think people are underrating what he can do. That being said, he's still on the Jaguars, so like, what difference does it make? Like,
yeah.
I am so high on him. I think he's going to be everything that he was hyped up to be, and even more beyond that.
Yeah, I'm the complete opposite.
We can agree to disagree here.
All right, fair enough. But I think we could agree that the Jaguars are probably one of the worst teams in the NFL.
Yes, I mean, they're going to be fighting for the number one pick.
Yeah. Broncos. I mean, technically they made playoffs last year. I guess I have to put them in can make playoffs. I'd say they're definitely better than the Patriots. I'd say they're probably better than the Cowboys. I'd say they're either here or here. Honestly, I mean, maybe better than the Dolphins.
I think the Broncos are better than the 49ers.
That is crazy. That is crazy. They do have a really good. They have a really good defense.
They have a really, really good defense. I think Bo Nix is not elite, like some people are saying. People are over-exaggerating what Bo Nix can do. Like, people are being like, he's going to be top 10, he's going to be in like all these discussions. No, but he doesn't have to be. He has to put up 20 points a game, and the Broncos will make the playoffs, and they could win a playoff game for sure. I think it's going to be tougher because they're not going to win their division. Obviously, the Chiefs are going to win it, I think for sure. And I'm like, well, what team are they going to beat? But like, if they somehow match up against the Texans, I could see them beating the Texans in the playoffs. Like, I can picture that happening. I think I would be okay with that spot. I'll be okay with that spot. But just let it be known, I disagree. I disagree. I think the Broncos are going to be significantly better than that. I think their defense is going to be dominant. I think Hufanga they got from the 49ers is an absolute difference maker. In the run game especially. They also got Drake Greenlaw from the 49ers, and Sean Payton is just always coaching good teams. He's never coaching bad teams. But
Bo Nix is the poor man's version of Tyson Bagent.
the poor man's version of our backup.
He's nothing exciting. He's standard, but he's a little bit below standard. He's going to be less accurate. He's going to be...
All right, Mr. Bo Nix hater.
I'm not a Bo Nix hater. I just think he's so overhyped. I do think...
I agree with you.
I think that the only thing that is going to save the Broncos is nothing to do with the offense. I think it's going to have to do with the coaching, and it's going to have to do with the defense.
And I still think those two things put them above the 49ers. But
I would not say that is a huge stretch for me. I can even put them in can win playoff games. I think that would be a blow to my religion and my soul, but I could do that. But I don't think I could do that any higher than that. I do think the Falcons are... I'm just a Tyson Bagent lover, man. That's all I'm going to say.
All right, let's talk about the Giants for 15 seconds.
Sure. Malik Neighbors is good.
Their D-line is going to be awesome. Their defensive line is going to be sick. And I think they go above the Titans.
Sure. Yeah, sure. They have a high ceiling. I think their quarterback room is... I genuinely think the biggest hurdle to them is going to be their entire coaching staff and their organization trying to not force them into losing games so that they can get a better quarterback next year.
Yeah. I mean, will Jackson Dart be the guy? I don't think so. I never saw it in Jackson Dart. But they'll win. Maybe
this will age horribly. Anyway. Vikings.
Another fun one. Very fun one.
Frauds.
There are people who would put them just below the Lions. There are also people who would put them below the Colts.
Me personally, I'd put them here. No. I don't know. I think they have a lot going for them. I think their defense is good. I'd say it's definitely above good. I wouldn't say it's elite. I think their offense is also good. Yeah, I'd say they're definitely. I feel like they're definitely above the Packers. I'd say they're definitely in can win playoff games.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would feel like they might be at the top of that tier, just because if JJ McCarthy is that guy, then they're certainly in that. Then that's where they are. And if we're going on an optimistic view, which I kind of have been for every team, where I'm like, I can picture JJ McCarthy being really good. It's certainly possible. And then if that happens, they can win a playoff game for sure.
If we're going on a super optimistic view for every single team, then I'd say the Bears are above the Vikings. We've not seen anything of JJ. We've seen a lot out of Caleb. I don't think it's fair to give JJ a huge optimistic viewpoint after a year of nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, with them, it's also the coach. I mean, Kevin O'Connell he resurrected Sam Darnold's career. He made Kirk Cousins look like a baller. So I think I think there's a high probability he does well with JJ McCarthy. Even if JJ McCarthy isn't that good, he's going to look good because he's playing for Kevin O'Connell and thrown to Justin Jefferson.
Dude, why are the fucking 49ers above the Bears? Right?
Why are the Eagles above the Bears?
What the fuck? Why are the Eagles above the Bears? Good point. All right. I'm fine with them. I think you have a good point. I think very established coaches. I think very established, wide receivers.
Right.
Very established defense.
Justin Jefferson provides that queen on the chessboard.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, he just provides a matchup problem that a good coaching staff takes advantage of, and they do it all the time.
I would not say they're conference contenders, though.
Yeah, I don't see them.
Although, honestly, the NFC does not have shit.
I could see them putting them below the Bengals just because it feels like...
Just because they're in the NFC.
Right. Because then if they... Really, what that'll
I feel like Chargers are above the Vikings, though.
I feel like the Chargers are a better team, but the Vikings have an easier path to the conference championship.
I agree. I say Chargers are probably above.
Please take the Chargers. I can't stand the Chargers in that tier. They're not going to the conference championship.
Yeah, you're right. I don't think the Vikings are either.
But see, the thing about it is, okay, let's say the Vikings are win the division, right?
I know what you're saying.
Like, they play like the Seahawks, and then they just have to beat the Lions or the Rams, who are like regressing. Both are coming back, so I think they have an easier path to the championship game than the Chargers. But the Chargers, I think, are a better team.
I don't know. Cardinals, I think they're either at the bottom of can win playoff games or the top of can make playoffs. I think I'm probably higher on Kyler Murray than a lot of people are.
Yeah, I mean, Black Ops 7 figures to be pretty bad, so... Sorry. No. I do like Kyler Murray, but I feel like he's so painfully average. I would put them maybe between the Seahawks and the Dolphins.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
There. Like, Kyler Murray, especially if they use Marvin Harrison. If Marvin Harrison goes crazy...
True.
That would be the X factor for them. If he lives up to his draft potential, that's where I would see them.
Yeah. I don't really know why I said they can win playoff games.
Yeah, I don't think can win a playoff game. I think they're certainly worse than the Broncos. I think they're certainly worse than the 49ers, Chargers, Bears, probably than the Falcons. I think the Falcons have a higher ceiling for sure.
Mm-hmm. Ravens.
Yeah,
I'm a huge Ravens fan. They're probably my second favorite team behind the Bears. I'd say that they're either top of contenders or Super Bowl favorites.
I think they're clearly in the Super Bowl favorites. I think they're clearly a tier above the Bills. I think they might straight up be a better team than the Eagles. I think the Eagles are still number one. As far as Super Bowl odds, I think straight up they might be a better team than the Eagles. I think Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry is just so hard to defend.
Derrick Henry is a bit of a question in terms of age.
Right, because with running backs, it's like he's going to be elite, and then he loses that half a step, and everyone can catch him, and he loses that little bit of power that makes him elite. You lose that one little, half an inch, and then you're just like average.
Yeah.
And they lose a ton of power when they lose. If Henry falls off that cliff this year, it could be this year, it could be 3 years from now.
I would not say it's... I think 3 years from... That would be like 37, right?
Yeah, or no, that would be like... I think he's 30 or 31.
30.
I think he's 30 or 31.
Maybe let's fix that right now. 31. January 4th. Okay, so 31 and a half. Yeah, I guess running backs always feel older than they actually are.
Right, because it happens fast for running backs.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think on paper they are probably the best team in the NFL. But I still think they have that, like, dark cloud of playoff collapse. It hangs over their head, and they haven't shaken it yet.
Yeah. I mean, they're the Ravens. They're bad luck.
And they have had bad luck under the Lamar Jackson era. And you can chalk that up to, like, it's just like bad luck. Fumbles haven't gone their way. It's bad breaks. But it's like this has happened every year since 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Every single year since 2018, they have underperformed in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And at some point, something's got to change. which is why I think the Eagles are still number one. But I think I would have the Ravens too. And we can get into why with the next team.
I think that I think Lamar Jackson, in my opinion, he's the best quarterback in the NFL.
I think that's a tough question. I think.
Yeah, I think that's a hard question.
Allen.
It's a debate. It's a debate.
Right. I mean, obviously, if you put Josh Allen on the Ravens, they're worse. But if you put Lamar Jackson on the Bills, they also get worse. You put either of them on the Chiefs, they all get worse because the teams are built for them. But I see what you're saying. I understand the Lamar is the best quarterback in the NFL argument because what he does is so unique and he's so productive in that offense.
Mm-hmm.
And that offense is so potent because of what he does, more so than any other player in the league, maybe in history, right? With his skill set. And they're so unguardable, yet somehow everyone finds a way to guard them in the playoffs. Kind of feels like the Bills and the Chiefs and like all those top AFC teams, they have like a little secret that they save for the playoffs, and they bust it out, and then they somehow stop Lamar in the playoffs. It's like that's been happening consistently. But I feel like this could be the year that they kind of buck that trend and they really go for it. Yeah. But I think they're number two, and we can get into why with the Chiefs now because I think the Chiefs are clearly. I think the Chiefs are clearly 3 behind the Ravens. We go ahead. Give your speech.
I feel like realistically, I'd agree with you. I cannot give a reason as to why they would be behind the Ravens. I just think that every time I count them out there, they just do some fucking bullshit. Like, literally no reason. I just think that they're like, we'll always have some devil magic to give them a win.
It's like the thing. It's like that's the reverse of the Ravens, where the Ravens have that magic, but it works against them, right? The Chiefs have that, but it works for them. I mean, obviously, part of that is because we can talk about Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Patrick Mahomes is the best player on the planet, and he has been for 6 years. And
I don't think he's the best player on the planet right now. I think once Caleb Williams entered the league, his time was fucking done.
Yeah, they still have an elite defense. Like the Chiefs' defense is elite. The Eagles absolutely carved it up, but the Eagles are like low-key a super team. So like that's just gonna happen.
Listen, I hate the fucking Chiefs. I'm so down with putting them below the Ravens. But if you ask me who's gonna win in a game against the Chiefs and the Ravens, in the playoffs, I'm gonna say the Chiefs are gonna sacrifice like 700 children and win. So,
right.
But.
And Taylor Swift's newest album goes number 1, and like
yeah,
just happened. That's just how it goes down. That's just what happened.
Yeah, so some ref's child gets held hostage by some anonymous caller, so they suddenly get a 99-yard penalty. Anyway, I hate the Chiefs. I'm so down to put them below, but every time I count them out, they fucking do something crazy. Buccaneers, I love them. I think they're one of the most ethical teams in the NFL. I think
they are the most ethical team in the NFL. I love that.
Yeah. I'd want to put them in at least conference contenders.
I think they are in that tier. I think
they're above the Vikings.
Of those 3 teams, they have the lowest ceiling but the highest floor. You know, and that's where those 3 teams are at. I love Bucky Irving. Bucky Irving, I think, is a dog. They're gonna have a great run game. Baker Mayfield is one of my favorite athletes of all time. He's a classic. Not talking anything about his play style, but just like his personality and like the things he's been through, like getting drafted to the Browns and like going through all that.
Getting drafted to the Browns, like you've had a tough life, man.
He went through shit, and then he was the best thing they've ever had, right? You know, like. And then they cast him aside because they're like, oh, we can have Deshaun Watson. Like, yeah. And then he goes and everyone, writes him off. And then he just does his thing. And now he's quarterback of one of the 10 best teams in the NFL.
Yeah.
I love Baker. They still have Levante David. They still have some dogs on defense. They still have Mike Evans.
Yeah. Mike Evans is a GOAT. Um, yeah, no, I love the Bucks.
Yep.
Hope they make it really far this year. But I think where they are right here is a good spot for them.
Yep. So we
Jets.
talked about the most ethical team in the league. Now we get to talk about the least ethical team. Actually, the least ethical team is the Browns, but like when it comes to football playing, the Jets are the least ethical.
Yeah,
Sure.
I don't think the Jets have much going for them. I'd say they're at the they're definitely I feel like they're definitely below the Giants, but I feel like all of these teams are also just like awful.
Yeah, I do think Justin Fields does have a little element of floor raising, just because he will win you those three games because he rushes for 150 yards.
Yeah,
Like he will have those 3 or 4 games where you're like, he's the man.
yeah.
Justin Fields is the guy. Like,
Dude, we will see a lot of Jets fans like fall in love with him.
dude, we're gonna see some. There's gonna be some really hard Justin Fields edits. Like,
For sure,
they're gonna
for
go
sure.
crazy. Like, they're gonna go so viral on
We
TikTok.
we did that too.
Dude, absolutely. I loved every minute of it. Dude, Justin Fields edits to this day still go so hard.
I'm rooting
Every
for him
single one.
really hard. He's an amazing guy. I hated the Jets so much last year. I wanted them to lose every single fucking game because Aaron Rodgers is a piece of shit. But Aaron Glenn, Justin Fields, I like both of them a lot. Hoping they do pretty well. But I don't think that they're a very good team at all.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to be competing for anything significant this year. I think below the Titans is fine. That's a fine spot for them.
Sure.
But they could be, you know. The small part of me still believes in the Justin Fields hype.
Yeah.
But
same.
again, he's not going to reach his potential on the fucking Jets. Like,
No.
what?
No, he will not. Steelers, I think 100% can make playoffs.
For sure.
I
Like,
think 100% they will not win a playoff game. I think 100% that they will not make the playoffs. I think it is impossible for
They are-
them not to.
Close your eyes, put them in that tier. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter where. They are making the playoffs this year. They are not winning a playoff game.
Yeah.
Uh,
I guess realistically they're
I would put
probably
them-
above the Cardinals.
I would
Maybe,
put them
I mean,
above the
prob-
Dolphins.
I don't know about
I
that
think it's
far.
more likely that they make the playoffs than Tua stays healthy all year.
Maybe. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is good at all anymore,
No,
which is
but it doesn't
awesome
matter.
to see. Which is awesome to see. I'm really glad he's still playing. He hasn't retired. It's the Aaron Rodgers hate watches last year were so successful. They were so
I'm in Chicago. I'm going to be at that game. Very excited.
yeah. Yeah, I'm fine with them there.
Ooh. Now we get
Commanders.
to the real hating. This is where real haters and true Bears fans get to speak their mind and speak their truth.
Frauds. I think they're
yeah.
below the Bears. I think they're 100% below the Bears.
My heart wants to put them there. My brain says they're not. But my heart certainly believes they're below the Bears. I think their offense is going to get figured out. I think Jaden Daniels, he's good. I don't think he is like elite, like everyone says he is. I think Cliff Kingsbury, time and time again, proves to be a fraud offensive coordinator, and people figure out what he's doing. And I don't think Jaden Daniels is going to change that. I think the drama with Terry McLaurin, like how can you make the conference championship and everything's going right for your team, and you're still like disrespecting your players with your contract, especially a franchise legend. Yeah, this is one. I mean, I really truly think they're going to take a huge step back this year. I think
100%. I don't think that's a
was, like,
question.
it was a lot of smoke and mirrors. It kind of feels like they were the 2018 Bears if we made the field goal against the Eagles. It's kind of the way I feel about that team.
Yeah.
That being said, they can still certainly win a playoff game.
For sure. Yeah. No, I definitely say at least this tier. I would say
put
they're
them
below the Bears though. I'd say literally right below the Bears.
Yeah, I think that's valid. That's valid. This is a Bears podcast. If you don't like that, go watch something else.
You've watched it an hour and a half already. Just keep watching. Finish the video. You may disagree, but fuck off. I mean, don't. Just whatever.
All right, last team, Texans.
They're a bit of an enigma. I think C.J. Stroud is really legit. You agree?
They also might have the worst offensive line in the NFL. Like they had one good offensive lineman and they traded him away because of bad vibes. Like, what the hell? So like, what's going on with that? Like, and that's like that's legitimately what happened. They're like, yeah, Laremy Tunsil, you're the only guy who can block. Unfortunately, we don't rock with you. So like, get out of town. And like, who the hell is gonna block? But like, outside of their offensive line, like if you take away offensive line, they might be like truly in that like they might be right beneath the Bills if you don't consider offensive line. But like, their offensive line is so bad that like I think they're between the Vikings and the Buccaneers.
I think that's. I still think that's a bit of a stretch, especially for an AFC team. I would not. I think it's very hard for me to. Vikings and the Bills. Or Vikings and the Bucks.
I think C.J. Stroud, like, I can picture him like aura winning against the Bills or the Chiefs, like in the same way Joe Burrow did.
True.
Like, I feel like he has like that kind of vibes where he can. This is the last team, and I've just resorted to vibes. But
I think they're definitely. I would 100% agree. I think they're the best AFC team below the Bengals.
Yeah, I think that looks good.
I can say that. I like the Texans a lot. For some reason, there were some Texans fans last year who were trying to like start beef between C.J. Stroud and Caleb Williams, and I'm just like, dude, they respect each other. Just let them be.
Absolutely,
they're different. They're different conferences. Sorry, go on.
I love C.J. Stroud. I think he's really good. I think he had like the sophomore slump, and people are like, "Oh, he's not that guy," but like, no, he is. But it's going to be tough to be good at all when their offensive line is that pitiful. And maybe it's good, maybe it's better than I think it is. But like, I truly think it's going to be like 31st out of 32 as far as the offensive line rankings, and it still won't matter because they're still going to be in the playoffs. First off, their division is pitiful. Like, the next highest team in their division is the Colts. So like, who we put as can't make the playoffs. So like, we're locking the Texans into winning their division, right?
Yeah.
Which is like not a stretch
by a lot
at all.
Yeah.
Like we have predicted that there's no chance the Texans don't win their division. And Nico Collins is a dog.
No, 100%. Yeah.
Their defense is still elite. I like their coach. I like everything about them except for 5 of the most important players on the team. Who the hell is blocking for C.J. Stroud? The answer is nobody.
Yeah.
Joe Mixon is still hurt. The whole Joe Mixon.
True, actually.
Where it's like no one knows if he's gonna like play like week 2 or just like he's done for the year.
Yeah. No, I forgot about that.
Yeah, and then they decided to replace him with Nick Chubb, who's like also highly injury prone, which is like, okay, let's take our fragile running back who we don't know if he's going to play and get a different fragile running back who we don't know if he's going to play. Like, that was silly of them.
Yeah.
They are very silly, but again, like, high aura team. They're a very high aura.
Oh yeah.
Like, they're very similar to the Bengals, where it's like there's so many C.J. Stroud like tough edits, like, and I'm like, yeah, they're winning the Super Bowl. And then it's like, again, like, their car like fills with water when they press on the gas, but like they also have like, but like they got like a dope paint job on that car. Like, they got tinted windows on their car that like can't even shift to 3rd gear. Like, that's what the Texans are. And like, I can see them in the championship.
The game against the Bears last year, was that with you? We were at that. Anyway.
Yeah.
I think we saw that. I genuinely thought like C.J. Stroud was like the best quarterback in the NFL at that point in time. He just was looked so amazing there. I think he has a lot of potential still to
Yeah,
uncover.
he's still ascending. He's still getting better.
Yeah, yeah. I think people are, like you said, very down on him after a sophomore slump, but I think he's going to come back. Really rooting for them, so happy to put them in conference contenders this year.
Yeah, I love this list. I think overall it's pretty good. I think there are some changes I would make
Yeah.
if I was more honest about myself about the Bears.
There's some changes I'd make if I was more honest about the Bears. I'd say they would win it all, baby. But just to appease you, I put them lower. No, I think this is a very good compromise list between us two.
Yes, a good compromise list.
Yeah.
The main one I agree with you on is I think the Falcons aren't going to be that good, and I think the Packers are going to be unfortunately better. But overall, it's pretty good. I mean, there's no team below the Lions that's winning the Super Bowl, anyways. Like I feel.
Maybe I could see the Bengals. I like I said, I could see the Bengals being at the very top of Super Bowl favorites or the very bottom of nothing going on. I genuinely,
they could the Bengals could absolutely hype moments and aura their way to the Super Bowl.
Genuinely, yeah, that would be the most watched Super Bowl of all time.
Right, and then the Bengals would still be the brokest franchise in the league. Like, and I would love it. I love everything knows.
Yeah. Anyway,
You trust? I got 2% into my Bengals spiel earlier, and I have more.
all right.
We've been here for so long. We've been talking we've been talking for a long time.
Yeah.
But I like this list. Overall, it's really solid.
Yeah.
There's no one who I disagree with by more than like 2 or 3 spots.
Yeah. I agree with that. Either way, fuck every other team besides the Bears. I cannot wait to get back talking about just the Bears. But I'm glad we got to share kind of our overall game knowledge of this.
Little quick snippets of each team. They're fun to go through, fun to talk about. Get the like every team in the NFL juices flowing, getting to talk about it, like thinking about who plays for every other team, just like on a very touching base with them.
Yeah.
Was nice to do. It was nice to get into that. And then next week a lot of these teams we're going to be talking about them as well, but in terms of how they match up with the Bears, and whether we think the Bears will beat them or not, I can't wait.
Yeah. No.
Spoiler alert: Bears are going 17-0.
Yeah. I don't know why you fucking spoiled the script.
Right,
Every Chicago fan got a memo that says "Don't spoil it," and you ruined it. But fine, we'll announce it now. Bears are winning it all, 17-0. So
I got the tattoo actually of the 26 champs.
If the Bears do win the Super Bowl, I will be getting a tattoo for sure.
All right, if they win the Super Bowl, yes, I'll do it. I'll do it with you.
Yeah, hell yeah, matching tattoos.
All right. That's all I got. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Hell yeah. This was super fun. Glad you stuck with us to the end. Really excited to do season 2 of The Bears Cave. Sam, we'll see him next time, won't we?
Bear down.
Bear down, fuckers. Sorry, I didn't mean that. Alright, see ya.